All right, good morning, guys. How are we doing today? I want to start off by saying again how pleased I am with all of you guys for being so on top of turning in all your work on time without much prompting on my end. I see that most of you, if not all of you, have turned in your blog, which is great because I can tell that you guys are really like used to the way the course is set up week to week. So I'm really pleased with that. Now I want to talk about week 7 today because week 6, as you know, was just kind of getting ready to do some research. You've got a research guide in hand. You're starting to use the library a little bit. And so week 7 is going to be a continuation of that. And as you'll see when we get down to talking about what's going to be due um, on Sunday and coming up in the next couple weeks, you'll see that this is all going to start to come to a head here in a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about week 7 then. So what our focus is for this week is for you to continue to find sources that you want to use in your lit review, obviously. But it's also to start to try to think about how these sources are going to fit together, about how they are like in communication with each other. And so now it's time to start to step beyond that idea of just reading something and getting a sense of it to starting to think about, okay, how does this fit into the bigger picture? Because remember, that's what the lit review is all about. We're thinking about how do these, collection of sources that you found, how are they talking to each other? How are they all discussing a similar or related or the same topic, right? How are, each of your sources discussing global warming, for example, if that's a topic that you're interested in. If that's a topic your community is interested in. How are each of your sources trying to tackle the problem of, increasing college tuition, right? Because what you're probably starting to see is that each of these sources, they're talking about the same kind of idea, the same kind of topic, but they're coming at it from different angles, right? So like one might be talking about a way to solve the problem, one might be talking about how the problem started, one might be talking about the problems with solutions that have been put forth, right? That's just kind of an overview example. Now, what you're going to see, though, is that these are all people that are kind of centering around this basic idea, and they're using different lenses to come at it, right? And so if you collect all these together, what you can say at the end of that collection is that, like, look, this is a uh, really kind of clear depiction of how people in this community are trying to think through this issue, this topic, this problem, right? What that's going to set you up to do is in our project 4 is you're going to actually come in and say, like, look, now that I've read all this stuff, I know what people are saying about it. I know how they're trying to solve a problem. Um, Here's my idea. Here's a solution that I think would actually help solve this problem or address this issue or um, shed new light on this topic, right? What lit reviews are really good at doing is making sure that one, you're really well grounded in research, and this is going to increase your own ethos, your own credibility as an author, right? So that when you start talking, they have more of a reason to listen to you because they can say, oh, okay, this person clearly is knowledgeable about the field. Number two, it also makes sure that you are saying something unique, right? So rather than coming in and saying something that people have said before, um, this allows you to come up with maybe a new idea. And obviously we'll cover that more when we get to project 4. But that's what all this work is going toward. Okay, so let's take a look at week 7 then. So for this week, you're going to continue to conduct your research. Now, I hope that's going okay. I haven't received any emails about problems with the library, research, stuff like that. But if you do, please email me. Also, feel free to set up Skype conversations. We can talk for as long as you want over Skype, and at your convenience, right? That's Skype is a great tool. Because sometimes those conversations are just so much easier to have in this kind of back and forth dialogue rather than just typing and waiting for a response. So if you are having problems, contact me, right? That's what I'm here for. Okay, so continue to conduct your research. Also, we've got a couple readings. We've got a sample annotated bibliography that I'll talk about in a second. Chapter 7, Understanding Plagiarism and Integrating Sources. So this is going to be a really valuable chapter for you guys if you have a little experience with working with research. But this is going to really make sure that you are understanding the ways in which we have to format quotes, paraphrase, citations, stuff like that. It's going to really stress the importance of doing that, right? Because we can talk about plagiarism, right? Stealing ideas intentionally or unintentionally. And it's that unintentionally part that students get into a lot of trouble with. And so chapter 7 will really help you figure out, okay, this is how I should do what I want to do, and this is why I should do what I want to do. So make sure you're really spending some time with that one. And also just keep going over the sources for your project. So you've got probably a collection of articles so far, and make sure that you are really on top of those, right? Because these are going to be the articles that you're going to be weaving in and out of each other. So make sure you understand, the thesis statements for each article and how they're using evidence to support those thesis statements. Okay. Excuse me. So I've got on here number 4, begin planning, creating, and uploading Ignite presentations based on your timing plan. Now, as I talked about in the last video, what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you guys make a PowerPoint that should consist of about 20 slides that's going to present just some of the interesting stuff you found in your research. Now, what I'm going to do throughout the week is this will be the first of several videos that you'll see. And this one's kind of a broad overview. The next one that I post in a couple of days will be a very detailed, how-to kind of thing. But basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating a PowerPoint that's giving me just some broad overview information about some of your topics or some of your sources. And so really this is an opportunity for you to say, hey, I found a couple articles that I thought were kind of cool. Here's what they're talking about, and here's what it made me think about. Hey, bud, come here. You want to sit in the video? Come here. Okay. Okay. And so, just give me 1 minute, bud. You see up here? You're on the camera. Say hi.
Hi.
And so that's what these presentations are going to be for. It's going to be a moment for you to show off some of your research. Now, you'll be posting those over the next 2 weeks before you're... I'm recording a video. Just hang on for 1 sec. Okay? I'm almost done. So you're going to be posting those for the next couple weeks before your lit review is done. So this will help you kind of synthesize your information, get used to talking about it. Good job, buddy. And so on and so forth. Okay, so stay tuned for that. You'll see it probably Wednesday. I'll put up that video. And so what's going to happen is once these videos go up, I'm going to ask you to watch your group members' videos and make comments on them and just kind of general reactions, just like you would do for a rough draft. Okay, so let's talk about what's actually due for this week then. Now, you'll see here it says submit your annotated bibliography. And so what this is this is just an extension of what you're already doing, collecting sources and figuring out how they fit together. So what an annotated bibliography is if you haven't done one before, it's basically a citation in the form of whatever your field uses, APA, MLA. So you're going to be citing each article correctly. And then with each article, you're going to be giving me a sense, so it's like 2 paragraphs. 1, kind of just a summary of the article. And then 2, how you see it kind of fitting in to the other articles or fitting into the topic. So summary, and then how it fits into the conversation. So let's take a look at the sample here. Excuse me. Okay, so as you can see, here's our first entry. So we've got our citation here. We've got a really good summary. In this essay first published, the author does this. He describes 2 camps of writers. Then here's the application, that second paragraph part. So this is where they're talking about how the author is tying into the topic in general and why it's an important journal, right? So just 2 brief paragraphs. Same thing. Here is your next one. So here's your citation. Here's your summary. And then here's how it fits into either your ideas, your work, how it ties into the other articles, or how you see it fitting into your lit review. And that's essentially it. And so you'll do that for your each of the articles you've collected so far, and you should have for this 6 articles by this point. So I think you need 8 to 10 for the final. So collect your 6 articles together, give me the citations for them, and give me a summary or a paragraph of summary, and then a paragraph of how you see it fitting into your project. Okay. What this is going to do is it's going to be super, super helpful for when you actually come into the lit review and have to do this, right? So you'll already have the important summary information that you can just move into your lit review, and you'll have the beginning of that conversation where you're thinking about how these are all fitting together. Okay, so that is going to be doing, and as you can see down here, 100 to 200 words for each paragraph. So it's not a ton of work, right? And so you'll do that for each one of your sources. Okay, the other thing that we need to take a look at here is your blog for the week. Let's take a look. Visualization, demonstrating the text. And so this is going to be, where are we? Establish a larger conversation, chapter 1. And so this is where you're going to be starting to think about how you are going to fit all of your sources together, how they're all tying into each other. And so this could either be, like an outline that you want to write up or draw up in Word for your lit review. If you're really into like bubble graphs, things like that, I know those are really helpful. I can post some examples of those, of how these ideas are all fitting together, right? So like, here's your main idea, here's one author, here's another author, and here's other fitting together. That's fine. So I just want to see some sort of outliney, drafty, whatever you want. Like it says here, you can do like a handwritten kind of chart or map that you can take a picture of and upload it. Whatever it is that's helping you figure out how these things are fitting together. I just want to see some sort of an outline for your literature review here, and that'll be your blog. Okay, so let's recap. Go ahead and check out the readings. Stay tuned this week for detailed discussion of how to go about doing your Ignites or PowerPoint presentations. And make sure you're doing your anti-bibliography and your blog. All right, guys, I will talk to you in a couple days, so stay tuned.